We've pushed you over the edge, Chris.
Come to the dark side.
It's hard to distinguish.
Luke Skywalker. I'm an asshole, just so everybody knows.
Sup, my beautiful people. This is Deborah Wilson, also known as Seer Junda from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and you are listening to the SSW Network.
Star Wars action figures collection, each sold separately.
He found out that Vader was his father too.
Millennium Falcon that you put together. Batteries not included.
We've pushed you over the edge, Chris.
Come to the dark side. Come to the dark side. We have alcohol.
We're in trouble. Let's get out of here.
I'm an asshole, just so everybody knows.
What you got?
It's R5D4 and the Power Droid.
No.
Action figures each sold separately.
And may the Force be with you always.
Well, welcome to Force Connect, the live Star Wars conversation, the last Force Connect episode that we will do. Chris, how you doing? How are you?
Pete, it's a little it's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet.
With what's this being the last Force Connect. It's a somber day, but I am gonna miss this.
Yeah, well, it's
okay.
This. I appreciate that, and you'll notice that Nick is not here. I was going to say that the reason Force Connect is not continuing is because of Nick, but I couldn't do that to him. The poor guy is he has been hit with a holiday sickness, the likes of which you guys have to know that if bourbon couldn't kill it, and Nick isn't here, there's a real reason for it. So hopefully he's doing better. And Lloyd, you're stepping in. You are going to be our third wheel tonight. How are you doing, Angry Tasty Cakes?
Oh, I'm good. There we go again. English is hard for me today.
It is.
No, I'm glad to be here. Nervous, but excited.
You should not be nervous. There's absolutely nothing to be nervous about. This is the final Force Connect. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. This will be the last time we do the show. We will be sharing some news about the network, though, coming up after the first break. But before we get into things, guys, we just came off the Christmas holiday. Hopefully, if you celebrate, you had a good one. We're now in the middle of Kwanzaa. We have passed Hanukkah. So whichever holiday you celebrate, hope it was a good one. But Lloyd, did you get any Star Wars Christmas gifts this year? Did you receive any holiday Oh, the Captain Rex. And did you do the Stormtrooper or the Skywalker helmet as well?
I did, yeah. What a bitch that one was to put together.
Oh man, the straw things, the yellow.
Oh, they're the worst.
It's my least favorite Star Wars Lego build of all time. The Luke Skywalker helmet for sure.
I love it because I like building, but
yeah.
First off, they miscolored one of the pieces.
Oh well,
so, wrong piece, and then I was missing pieces, and then those yellow piping things tore the build apart halfway through because they were so stiff, and then the instructions make no sense. I like it though. It does look nice when it's completed.
I did not love that build. How about you, Chris? I know that you collect a lot of stuff on your own. Did anybody gift you anything that was Star Warsy?
Yeah, a friend of mine got me socks.
Okay.
Darth Vader and Stormtrooper socks.
Okay. I mean,
I'm very happy for those.
Yeah, I would say I would take Star Wars socks. I'm actually wearing Darth Vader socks right now. I was going to lift my leg up, but I figued I would injure myself.
Yeah,
it would be. Yeah, we don't need to see that. It's not that kind of show. It's not a. It's not a
showgirl,
cam girl kind of thing. No, it's not.
I got Rogue over here.
Yeah, I got what you see behind me here. I got a Scout Trooper helmet from my father and my mother, and it's from the Cyber, whatever their name is, Cybercraft. Holy crap! I have all, and I will now lose any chance I possibly have to ever get a Black Series or Hasbro sponsorship. But the quality difference, the weight, the heft, it's all cushioned inside. It's a much more, I mean, I imagine if I did 501st stuff, I'd have to lose about 50 pounds before I could fit into a Scout Trooper outfit anyway. But I would love to be able to wear it because it's nice and soft and comfy and whatnot. So, but yeah, so well, that's good. I'm glad you guys had a Star Warsy holiday season, so that's great. So listen, we have to do our housekeeping as we always do. Make sure to follow us on all your social media channels at the SSW Network. We still have Around the Galaxy, which will be coming out on a regular basis. In fact, next week we'll be dropping our episode with epic voice guy John Bailey, the guy who started out as a Transformers fan and ended up actually voicing Transformers, as well as him from How It Should Have Ended and a bunch of other things. So he was a really fun interview. He's going to drop next week. Podcast The Wills, of course, will still be sticking around. So make sure to follow us on all your social media networks. And if you want to become a patron for when we do these fun interview shows and things like that, make sure to head on over to the sswnetwork.com so that you can be a part of those shows for as little as $3 a month. You'll get a link so that you can be part of the live virtual audience when we do those shows. So very, very excited about that. Well, we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about a little bit of the future of the SSW network, something we have planned coming up, as well as we're going to hit some of the news. Then a little bit later, if you're hanging out in our featured segment of the night, we want to talk about the upcoming Star Wars 2024 calendar. And I have some thoughts on, there's a guy who's doing a deep fake video with Mark Hamill, and it has caused a little bit of concern, a little bit of craziness. So I will probably have a couple comments on that. But what I think we'd like to do right now is we're going to run a real quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the future of the SSW network. So we'll be right back. What? What was that? A video about something happening on Thursdays? So it's true. Force Connect is going away. This is, in fact, the last Force Connect episode. We have done Friday nights for the last almost 2 years, maybe more. It goes back to the Beyond the Blast Doors days when it was streaming Star Wars. Friday nights during pandemic were absolutely, there was a need for people to get together, hang out, and talk about Star Wars. But we have decided that in an effort to bring the network, make it a little bit more cohesive, we are going to change the name of the show from Force Connect to ATG Live, which will be every Thursday night at 8 p.m. There has been a lot of conversation among us, as well as conversation from you, our fans and friends. It's going to feature news. It's going to feature guests. Every episode will have a guest. We're going to take your comments and your calls. You know, Around the Galaxy, the Star Wars Fan Talk show that I started back in 2019 has been incredibly successful. It's been a much bigger, wilder ride than I expected. It has been consistently named among the top Star Wars podcasts by places like FeedSpot and Good Pods and other places like that. And so we wanted to make sure there was just a little bit more consistency between Around the Galaxy and our live show. So we're going to be keeping the live show going, but it's now going to be on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. We are going to be doing the show here. We're going to kick off the very first one on January 11th, and we are excited as we possibly can be. I think, look, during pandemic, Friday nights were a different thing. I don't know about you guys, but Fridays were just a fun. We needed something on those Friday nights to get it together. So we're excited that we're going to be with you. We are going to still have our good friend Lloyd doing the back end, hanging out with us. We are going to have Chris, and Nick will actually be here if he doesn't have the plague. He'll be back with us. Chris, any thoughts on the show going to Thursday nights?
Yeah, it's
he's in an iron.
A day earlier.
It's a day earlier. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. This is why
I love it.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tighter show. It's going to be a little bit faster paced. The pace that you just got from that little commercial, that's the pace of the show. It's going to be breakneck speed. We're going to be talking about all the things happening, and we're excited that we're going to be able to hang with you guys. And Lloyd, what are your thoughts, man? I'm excited that we over the last several months we have discovered this skill set that you have to keep us honest, keep us going, keep us sort of managing the back and managing the comments. How's it going? How's it going? How are you feeling about that?
I'm kind of excited about the increase in speed. Like, we're going to be going fast enough to where we're going to go plaid, and I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to it. I think having, more of a structure is going to be very nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun show, and I think we're gonna, like I said, one of the things I'm excited about is we're going to be going like late night talk show style. We are going to have guests every single week. Some of them will be big names, some of them will be fellow podcasters, some will be just friends of the show. But every single week, we're going to have a guest. We're going to have very tight segments, and we are also very excited to announce that we want to have you call us and leave your voicemails. We're going to be reviewing your voicemails every single week and playing them. So here's the number right here.
Hi, I'm holding for General Hugs.
Where are those transmissions you sent?
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing.
Okay, I'll hold.
So that's it. Write that number down. It's 504-321-1501. Write it down. Anytime you have a Star Wars thought, driving in your car, you're going to work, you're like, you know what? I have a comment about the Zillow and Ray connection. I would like to leave a comment on the ATG Live voicemail so that they can talk about it. I'm going to give it a call. I just saw a tweet and I have an opinion on it. I would like to talk about it. So we want to be able to hear from you on those sort of things. But
I do want to say, in the upcoming new shows, I want to have a beard off with Kyle.
Yeah, we saw Kyle Katarn's hanging out with us tonight in the chat. Yes, I think a beard off. I don't know. That just doesn't quite sound right. But yes, it is a New Orleans number. That's we have our operator standing by they're located in a bunker just outside of one of the casinos right on the bayou there.
Hey, real quick, can we scroll up on the comments, because Eric Elliott had something. This is not Zillow related.
Okay.
As to why Nick is Nick
had the 1980s dust on it when he dropped it in.
Stop.
Asbestos
Stop
and lead.
doing that. I'm worried about you, man. Just drink regular, man.
Jan Didania Ueri. He didn't. Ueri is not going to.
No, is that what it is?
I don't know.
Please no.
Yes, that is very, very sad.
And now it is. Now it's official. You just made January official.
Jan Didana Ueri. It's coming. It's coming. Hashtag it. Hashtag that shit. Let's do it. But let's talk. There's been a couple of other pieces of news, and again, thank you all for hanging out with us on Friday nights.
Did you do a toast?
I did. I didn't do a toast. Holy crap! Wow, you have been
over here jumping the gun over here.
Oh man, yeah. So let's see. This is a toast to everybody who's hanging out with us. I'm going to go through and just read off who's commented so far. We've had Skywalker's Academy. We've had Bombad Cast, Che Gadsby. Where is that Che Gadsby? I'm not sure. Eric Elliott, Oscar Redef. Probably screwed up that last name. Podcast of the Wheels, Kyle Katarn. We have Evil Anakin Skywalker. Angry Tasty Cakes, who's actually also on screen. Shinobi's with us, of course. Good to see you again. Bunch of other people here. We have a full house tonight. Andy Lemire, formerly of Beyond the Blast Doors, still with Hollow Chronicles, was with us. I just would like to do our toast tonight to all the people who have come and hung out with us on Fridays, but are hopefully now going to come and join us and hang out with us on Thursday nights, 8 o'clock, an hour earlier. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock, right here, same times or same channel, different time, different name for ATG Live, which will be starting on the 11th of January. That's my toast. It's to all of you who've hung out with us on a regular basis. Love having you with us. So thank you so much. So cheers to all of you. Happy Star Wars. So let's talk about a couple things that have happened in the news this week, or since we were last on. Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Disney has confirmed 4 shows in 2024. Those shows include Bad Batch Season 3, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, The Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew. Not inconspicuously missing were Andor, Visions, and Mando Season 4. So, guys, what are your thoughts on those 4 shows? It's not a ton of shows, but what are your thoughts on getting some new Star Wars?
You can go ahead. Angry Lloyd.
I'm excited for Acolyte. Tales of the Jedi. I haven't watched Season 1, so I can kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just didn't really resonate with me. But honestly, those are like the two major ones I'm looking more forward to. Skeleton Crew, I mean, again, take it or leave it. I'm excited to get more content, but I don't know if it's going to like push the buttons that I have. You know what I mean?
Yep. I hear you. What about you, Chris? I know you're a gimme guy, but of those 4 shows, what are you thinking?
My hope is that all the shows together make up around 52 episodes, so not a week goes by in 2024 without some new Star Wars show to watch. Double up the Bad Batch if you have to get us over the hump.
Double them up.
Double up the episodes to 36 if you have to. Just get us over the whole 52 thing. Yeah. And as long as by the end of that, we do see Scar Squadron.
I'm thinking it could very well happen. Scar Squadron could be on the horizon.
I guess I am looking forward to Bad Batch. Yeah. Nobody was on screen, so I'm just saying he could.
I don't want him to be alive. I want it to be a real death. I want it to be a real death.
It's going to be look. Either he's dead, or he's just been repurposed, and that's a new life.
As a Scar Squadron
stormtrooper with a blue visor. Come on now,
Scar Squadron. Mike. Mike's the name of his counterpart for sure. It's coming.
Mike. That's the name.
It's not a coincidence that the Black Series figure came out pretty much the week that Echo died.
You don't think they're gonna let that go? All right.
I got a board in the back. It just
Charlie Day all over it.
Just connecting everything.
That's very funny.
You got thumbtacks and yarn strings stretching everywhere.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. So we'll after the break we'll dig into what we're looking forward to in 2024, and there's certainly this thing. I have to say, I mean, look, I know you're a gimme guy, Chris, and I am too. I would watch a new Star Wars episode every single day. Twice. But I have to say twice. Yeah, usually twice. I have to say I'm not disappointed. I like 4 shows. I think we're going to get Bad Batch first. I think then we're going to get Acolyte. Then I think we're going to get Jedi, and then I think we're going to get Skeleton Crew. I think that's the way it's going to roll out. That's my personal opinion. I think space is good. I think we've learned. I don't know. Like, look at the MCU. The MCU has bombarded us with stuff, and frankly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm MCU'd out, man. Like, I have zero. I'm also DCU'd out. I did not see Aquaman yet.
All right, calm down.
Well, I'm looking forward to Snyder's.
I've seen it.
Or not Snyder's.
We saw Snyder's.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah, I needed a bottle to get through that.
Wish.com Star Wars is but all right, that's fair. All right, so we got to
protect the village. No village fight.
Yeah, we got to protect the 7 people in the village. Hey,
did anyone else call out scenes, like 2 scenes before they happened? Or was that just okay?
Yeah.
And look, I'm not here to bash Zack Snyder, but I do have to say there was absolutely zero tension in any of the Magnificent 7 collecting of people. I just didn't. Anyway, this is not the Rebel Moon show.
Get it, man. This is like Last Jedi. We don't get it.
Right? We don't get right. There are people out there who will die on that hill for Rebel Moon, and let him go ahead and do that. That's fine. Let's talk about one more piece of news before we go to our next break, and that is Adam Driver says he's not doing it anymore. He was on the Smartless podcast. I don't know if any of you ever listen to Smartless, but it's a freaking great podcast, hilarious podcast. But he said, and this is the quote: "They're doing stuff, but not with me. I'm not doing it anymore." So Star Wars moving forward will be Kylo Ren, Ben Solo free. Thoughts on that, gentlemen? I personally think it's fine. I have no issue with it. But what are your guys' thoughts on like I think a lot of people were hoping that they would get him in the upcoming Rey movie, some sort of reference. But what are your thoughts?
Let me get my shoulders ready.
What, do you got to carry the world on him?
No, just
the big shrug. Yeah.
He died. So
I think for me, it's directly related to my feelings on The Rise of Skywalker. So I have my connection to him as a character doesn't impact me too much at this point.
Now, if they want to go back and do stuff, of course, with the Academy and have like just another actor playing a role, go for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Kylo Ren story has been told
in comics.
In the comics. Yeah, I know how you feel about that one.
I'm not going to comment any further on it.
You should read more Star Wars comics.
I should, but I'm not going to. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Lloyd, you got any thoughts on it? Carry either way. I mean, honestly, like, I think that's Chris, you and I are in the same boat. Like, I'm like, okay.
I thought he was great. I thought he was great. I loved his character. He did a fantastic job. But if they're done with him, like, okay, then
they're done with him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. part of me is asking how much of it was him just not wanting to do it versus how much of it was Disney not giving him the callback.
Yeah,
and I love Kylo's character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the fact that he died, because if he didn't die, there could have been more.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, what can we really say about it other than,
yeah,
Evil Annie's got the right idea. That's what I'm talking about.
What's he saying now? Let's see.
Mm-hmm. John, just saying.
You mean what was her name?
Jonna.
Yeah.
Is
that who we're talking about?
Her too. Why not?
Well, maybe they should.
All of them. And then Finn just leads this. Oh, there's so many possibilities.
See, can you imagine? Like, you know what? Screw the Rey movie. Let's get a movie about Finn. Like, let's get that mythical stormtrooper revolution kind kind of story. Let's see that.
We should have got it.
We should have got that already.
You think it'd be the continuation of the story from Battlefront 2?
Right. Yes.
How he defects in Force Awakens. I'm good with that.
Or then after the Force Awakens, where he goes and frees all the stormtroopers instead of just killing them with the Resistance.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be that guy, but
Hashtag more Finn. I'm just saying.
Hashtag more Finn. There we go. We can do that. That would be cool. Well, good. Well, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to want to get your thoughts on what you're looking forward to in 2024 for Star Wars coming out. And I do need to touch on a little bit of the latest and greatest with Star Wars Theory and what has come of a very simple comment on Twitter and the explosion that it's caused. So we will be back with the last Force Connect, but the episode 0, issue 0 of ATG Live. ATG Live is going to be a completely different show. Same people, a little bit different looking, a little bit different format. But we'll be back in just a minute with more of the final Force Connect. All right. So, yes, starting on Thursday, January 11th, 1/11, we are going to be launching ATG Live, the live Star Wars talk show. We're going to be doing it very much in the same vein as some of your late night talk shows. We're going to do some news, some conversations. We'll have a guest on every single show, and we're going to want to hear from you. Let me run that phone number one more time. Put it in your phone. If you're sitting here watching, put it in your phone. So next time you have a Star Wars thought, leave us a comment on it. Here
Hi, I'm holding for General Hugs.
Where are those transmissions sent?
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing.
Okay, I'll hold.
504-321-1501. That's the number. Put it in your phone. Do it now. Just save it. You never know when you're going to need it. You could be at work one day and somebody could say something. You'd be like, you know what? I was just thinking, what did Sebulba actually throw into Anakin's pod racer? And what was the problem? Why didn't they expand on that more? Or maybe you want to talk about, what do EOP farts really smell like? I don't know. If anyone's sadness, shame. I don't know. Well, speaking of EOP farts, I don't know what the direct connection is. Maybe that's not a great direct connection, but listen. So here's every week Twitter has some complete bullshit that gets completely out of control. I've been on the receiving end of it. I've been on the giving end. I was telling Lloyd before we started, 2024, I'm going. It's like my New Year's resolution to like back out of that stuff as much as I can. But we all know, Chris is making the face. Chris knows the chances of that happening are not great. But
to be fair, I said the exact same thing. I was like, "There's going to be something," on like January 8th. There's going to be so batshit. It's going to bring us right back in.
It's going to bring us right back in. But this week, it was something really very simple, and I think this speaks a lot to sort of the state of the Star Wars fandom and the people who are influencing it. And listen, look, we ATG Cast Twitter account is considered an influencer to a degree in some cases. We do have, we have a good following. The podcast itself does so much better than the YouTube channel because that's where we put the focus. So I've never claimed to be a YouTuber, but earlier this week, Star Wars Theory, who is in his I don't want to say defense, but in his to his credit, he is the largest user generated content Star Wars creator out there. He has over 3.3 million subscribers on YouTube. He has a very large voice, and I think that's part of my problem is that he does not use that voice in a way that is less than toxic, I guess is a good way to put it. So he posted something about he's coming up with a new video series where he is deep faking and using AI to create Luke Skywalker in the Heir to the Empire EU days. And this person, a Plasma Pistol CEO, very simply posted, they added Mark Hamill on Twitter and said, did this YouTuber ask for your permission to use your likeness for an AI deepfake in his YouTube series? A very simple question. And an even simpler answer. Mark Hamill simply said, no. That was it. That was all there was to it. And it should have died there, but it didn't die there.
Of course. Because
it's Twitter, because it's social media. And people started using this as an opportunity to say, things about Star Wars. Look, and honestly, I don't care either way about the deep faking stuff as it relates to this. It's a fan film. He's I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either way. I think the AI issue is a bigger issue as it relates to the writers and actors strikes from the past, from this past year. That being said, I think doing it is asinine. So what he did then, of course, as you do if you're a YouTube grifter who has a history of being toxic, who has a history of consistently beating down the Star Wars Disney era of not just the content, but he passive aggressively goes after the fans and doesn't he does what he does the bare minimum to say things like don't go after people who like this stuff, when he himself is what people don't recognize is if you beat something down that people are fans of, you're going after them. But the worst part about it was he then got on a tirade. He puts together an 11-minute video. And for a moment, I considered us going through that video, but I decided I didn't want to do what every other red-eyed, laser-eyed grifter does. But I do want to play a little bit of a piece here. So it
is kind of important.
It's short. It's the worst part about it. Okay. He took this opportunity to go after female fans, and let me just play this for you.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. But this was definitely what was the point of doing that? That's the real question.
And nerds and geeks, real geeks, like now you have like e-girls being like, I'm such a nerd, I'm such a geek. It's like, no, you're an opportunist. Anyways, back then it was like the real nerds, and
so that is a very small clip of an 11-minute rambling of him, among other things, talking about how female fans, women fans, I hate to use the word female because I sound like I should be doing it from doing a car video with sunglasses on, but he's saying that women
what
fans...
What color is your Bugatti?
What he's saying is that women fans and Disney era fans, because he also goes into, if you watch the 11 minutes, he goes into the fact that a lot of the Star Wars fans in the Disney era are opportunists who are looking for ways to take full advantage of the Star Wars popularity, and that of course saying things like it's not real Star Wars. The irony of somebody like him, first of all, going after women fans is obnoxious, disgusting, and it needs to be stopped. They do need to call that shit out. The second piece about it is for him, of all people, to call any human being on the planet an opportunist is hilarious. It's a guy who literally, he's making literally 7 figures in YouTube revenue from talking about Star Wars. If that's, he's done nothing. Now, sure, he's created his fan films, but he's not done anything other than talk about Star Wars, and he is calling other people opportunists, and calling out female fans and calling them opportunists and not real fans, hiding behind the fact that he says these fan films of his don't make money. They don't, but it creates a fan base that leaves him super chats and follows him on YouTube and creates the opportunity for him to make a ton of money. And look, I don't begrudge him making money. I wish Force Connect and ATG Live would make a fraction of what he makes, and that's fine. But I'm also the first to admit that we're sitting here talking about work that other people have done. We're talking about opinions on work that others have done. Am I an opportunist? Absolutely. As it comes to when there's new content, we talk about it. That's called being an opportunist. We are critics. We are fair with our opinions. We will never bash anybody, as we were saying before. Hey, Rebel Moon, me and Lloyd were talking before we got on. There's some people who love it, and you know what? That's awesome. If you love that, I could not be happier for you. I wish I did. I really went into it wanting to love it, but I'm not going to go online and bash people for enjoying anything that they like.
Unless it's comic books in your case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just, no, I talk privately with Chris about which comic books I don't like, because I don't want, but honestly, and the pure response to that is, dude, it's because there are people
I'm not doing all this stupid reading and stuff.
No, there's people who love it. So why should I beat it up? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I could do an entire channel about why I don't like comics, and I would probably do fine. But why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. Lloyd, Chris, anybody have any comments, thoughts?
Go ahead, Chris. I'll wait.
Sure. Here we go.
Okay. Chris has weighed in on the topic in a way that only Chris can. It's
7 figures. I got that right here.
No, not 7 action
joke. That's
figures.
A good one, actually.
Is that what it means?
No.
Oh, wow. Wow. He's doing well.
Lloyd, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's important to note that Star Wars, like I said to you before we got on, I think it's important to note that Star Wars is for everybody. And, like I was saying before, Star Wars is the Cheesecake Factory of sci-fi.
Yep.
Okay. There's 250 things on that damn menu. You're not going to like every single one of them, but you're not going to go to the restaurant just because you don't like a couple things. That's not how it works. Right.
Yep.
But I think, we kind of have to take stock in the idea that I think kind of have to surround yourself with the more mature people that will recognize that you're not going to like it. Someone else may, and they are totally entitled to that.
Yep.
Right. And you kind of just have to surround yourself with those people that won't shit on somebody else's opinion. Like when I went to Disney, watching, younger generations wander around as Rey, I was like, that's what Star Wars is about.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
And for him to go after other creators, to go after fans, to do this kind of thing, it's embarrassing.
Well, and I think the challenge, though, Lloyd, and I think this is where the conversation is difficult. He rarely goes after anybody in particular. However, he incites people to do it. He feeds the fire on that. I just posted last week a picture of my daughter when she was 6 years old, when we were about to go see The Force Awakens. She hadn't seen it yet. It was a picture of her. She was in her Rey costume that she created before she even saw the movie. She loved that character that much. the people that came into my stream just to complain about The Force Awakens and tell me how bad it was and how bad the Disney era is and how terrible it is that Star Wars is being treated the way it is by Disney, when meanwhile I have living proof in my house that that's not the case. That, first of all, these are people who are angry about something completely different.
It's not Star Wars. They're not mad at Star Wars.
Correct. They're mad at something else, and they've politicized it, and it's everything that they say is happening. Again, calling somebody an opportunist when you have taken the opportunity to turn a Star Wars channel into a multi-million-dollar affair, and all you're doing is creating content that's complaining about Star Wars. So,
and then on the other side of that as well, like in terms of this most recent debacle, a lot of it is just ego getting in the way. And
it's all ego. Yep.
And I'm going to be honest with you. There's ego on both sides. Okay.
Yep.
Like, I think it's just one of those things where a simple answer was turning a mountain out of a molehill, or whatever the expression is. Mark does not know who he is, nor does he care who he is.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't care if he wants to make his fanfic, go for it.
Yep.
But there's a certain level of professional courtesy that should have been maintained. All he had to do was ask if he could use his likeness. That's all he had to do. And instead, he chose to die on this hill. And I don't get it. It's exhausting.
The thing that's also incredibly frustrating is if you read the comments underneath his response, now people who have, by the way, the reason they hate Disney Star Wars allegedly is because of what was done to Luke Skywalker, because Mark Hamill is gospel. And when Mark Hamill said he didn't like what Rian Johnson did in The Last Jedi,
that was
Mark Hamill can do no wrong. So now all of these people have turned on Mark Hamill. I don't even have the comments in front of me. I don't have, I'm not looking them up.
I wouldn't even show them, honestly.
They go after Mark Hamill. The amazing thing to me is I don't understand this worship of a guy who would not piss on you if you were on fire. The guy is he's so focused on himself. He's the Andrew Tate of Star Wars fandom. He has said many. I have videos and clips of some of the things he said, which would it would disgust you. But this guy is making the money, and he's being followed by angry people again who are angry at something that's not Star Wars. They're angry at something else. And Oscar's 100% right here. Oscar says negativity sells, and that's why YouTube and Google and so many of these things, these platforms have become successful. It's because they make it so that you can make money on the negativity. So,
and the other side of that too is, I mean, Star Wars is filled with great people.
Yeah,
the fandom is filled with great people. It's just unfortunate that there's this minority that are centered around the same like 5 content creators.
Yep.
And unfortunately, this minority of idiots is louder than the rest.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's really what it just comes down to. They just happen to be louder than everyone else. Star Wars is filled with good, positive people.
It is. And I look at the fans who follow us, the fans who I interact with on a daily basis. More times than not, they're great people. And it's the people who hide behind a keyboard and see a picture of a 6-year-old girl who likes Rey and takes that as an opportunity to tell me that Rey sucks. She's a Mary Sue. She's a poorly written character, and Disney has ruined their childhood. What is wrong with you as a human being?
Go after
honestly,
a child,
many things.
For liking a character.
Yeah,
right.
And,
like,
I mean,
you're no fan of mine. Let me.
Yeah, and again, honestly, look, you guys know I have some very severe issues with Rise of Skywalker, but there are people who that is their. I know, shocking. I know. There are people who that's their favorite Star Wars movie, and you know what? That's awesome. I am so happy for those people. There are people who loved Rebel Moon. That is great. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I don't get it, but that's fine. But I will never go into anybody. If I see somebody posting Rebel Moon is the masterpiece of 2023, am I going to go into their feed and just be like, Zack Snyder doesn't know what he's doing. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. And you're an idiot. That's the other piece. It becomes a personal attack. You're an idiot for liking it. No, it's fine. You're a fan of a style and of a story, and that story spoke to you and it worked for you. That's fantastic. So I don't know, Chris. Do you have any other comments on this?
No,
no,
no, Pete. I think it's time to leave this jerk and let's talk about something happy.
Let's talk about happy stuff. I agree. And again, New Year's resolution. I'm going to do my best to stay out of this stuff. I am going to try. But you all know I'm probably not going to be able to stick with it. Yeah.
I have a hopeless resolution for 2024, and that's to stay out of the comment sections of anything.
of anything.
Of any genre of anything I like. Outside of Star Wars, like pro wrestling is
oh my god, yeah.
The dumbest area of the comment section. It's so dumb.
I can sense a
lot of
disturbance.
people think they know the business and they don't. It's almost the same as like the Star Wars ones. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It does.
I got to stop that because it's just I feel the migraines coming on.
Well, when
I've even had one.
Yeah, when Arda Ocal was on with us from ESPN, he said that Star Wars fans and wrestling fans are a very similar breed. He meant it complimentarily, but it's
it's very true.
It's good and bad, right? So yeah. All right, well, let's turn the tables a little bit. Let's talk about what we're looking forward to in 2024. It doesn't have to be any of the 4 shows that we know are coming, because we know there's a lot of other stuff coming down the pike. We're going to take a quick moment. We would love to hear from you, so make sure to put it in the chat. We're going to run one more commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to go through that, and then we're going to call it a night on this Thursday night, the last Force Connect, the sort of episode 0 of ATG Live, and we are excited for what is coming here in 2024. But until then, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back, and we want to hear from you. What are you looking forward to in 2024? We are back, and listen, I hope nobody feels like we pulled a fast one and said that it's the final Force Connect and now we have a new show coming, because honestly the new show is going to be different. It's going to be that's just a taste of the production value. We are we have a lot of stuff planned. It's going to be a different show, a faster paced show. It's going to be a show with guests every single week. We're going to be talking about the topics. We're going to want to hear from you. So again, write down that phone number. Make sure that you join us via your voicemails. We're going to monitor the chats. We're going to be on top of all that every single week. And again, we got some guests lined up already for ATG Live. ATG Live coming January 11th. I hope you are with us. Well, 2024 kicks off in just a couple days. We know about the 4 Star Wars shows that are coming. We know that Bad Batch Season 3, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, The Acolyte, Skeleton Crew are on the horizon from Disney+. But there's also a video game called Outlaws, which is on the horizon. There are comic books. There are a ton of new novels coming out. And since I don't know how to read big words, I can't name them all off the top of my head. But we'll be monitoring the chat. Let's see what you're looking forward to in the chat. We'll be bringing them up while we talk. But I want to start with you, Lloyd. What are you looking forward to in 2024 that's coming down the Star Wars pike?
So this doesn't have to be shows, right?
It could be whatever you like. Whatever if you had to pick one Star Wars project that you're like, gimme, I want that this moment. What are you looking at?
Outlaws.
Yeah.
That's hands down Outlaws. Like,
yeah,
I need an open world Far Cry Star Wars game.
Yeah, and it looks fantastic. And I mean, just the clips we've seen, it looks like it's going to be something special. So I can't disagree with you on that. It's do we have a date on that? Have we heard anything about release time?
As far as I know, they don't have a solid release date for it. They just said something about this year. Okay. But with the way that the gaming industry is currently, this year really means in the next 5. We just don't know. I mean, they're laying off people left and right. So
yeah.
It could be this year. It could be in 2029.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do we think the chances are? I mean, they are saying 24. This has been, now the pandemic is over, we've seen a lot of games that we'd been waiting for come out. I mean, 2023 was so jam-packed with video games. It was impossible to keep up with. I mean, I'm just getting to Baldur's Gate now. There's just so many games. So hopefully they're going to get that out. But what are your thoughts on the chances that it actually happens this year? What percentage would you put it at?
I would be shocked. I would say we're going to have like a 40-60 split. It's either 40% is going to come out, 60% it ain't. Only because Ubisoft is riding high on Assassin's Creed. They just got done with Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
I mean, their talent pool is stretched thin. So, I mean, and Star Wars, they got to take their time with it. It's not like Assassin's Creed where they can pump one out every other year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So 40-60 split, I think.
Okay.
And Cheyenne, man, listen, don't talk to me about the KOTOR remake. Okay. They took that money and ran. But that's okay because, I got that.
He's happy with that one. Woodsy's talking about the remastered Dark Forces, which I can't wait for because I remember when that game first came out, me and my buddy were like, this is Doom in Star Wars. This is what we've been waiting for. We finally have it. Chris, what are you looking forward to?
I mean, besides all of it, in particular with the comics, with what has happened at the end of the Dark Droid saga, which just ended this past week, the last issue came out. Earlier in the month, Star Wars 41 came out, and it had spoilers for the end of Dark Droid. So hopefully a lot of people didn't read it until after they read this issue that just came out. But
I didn't read it, Chris.
I know you didn't read it. But what happens at the end of this series within the Star Wars comic, within Charles Soule's comic, there's been an ongoing thing with Lando and Lobot, and in particular Lando, and going from what we see of him in Empire Strikes Back to this gradual change into this general that we see in Return of the Jedi, and we're getting there. One of the big questions I had was, are we going to see the Battle of Tanab that Lando talked about in Return of the Jedi? And everything kept going, between the Crimson Dawn trilogy, the Dark Droid stuff, and all the other arcs in between. And I'm like, we're not getting there. How much more stuff can they do within this year between the two movies? I think what's about to happen, because right now Lando's in a bit of trouble because he did some shady things to help out Lobot. It was all for a good cause to help Lobot out. I think we're finally going to get. I think Charles Soule is finally going to do the Battle to Nab and really do a redemption arc for Lando. So that I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to the Mace Windu comic that's coming out from Mark Bernardin, who for me, this guy shits on so much stuff, like on this podcast with Kevin Smith, where I'm like, this better be good. This better be amazing. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think there's a pre-Phantom Menace book that's coming out. Also, I think it's a Yoda book or a Jedi Council book or something like that. Looking forward to that as well as Outlaws. If
that's awesome.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to those.
That's cool. I personally, what's top of my list is actually Acolyte, which surprises me because I think I finally have come to that point with Star Wars content, and I hate to use the word content because I know the writers and actors hate it, but where I'm like, the ones that I don't think we need are the ones that I have the most fun with, right? I did not think we needed an Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and it was fantastic. It wasn't as good as Andor, which was a series that I thought we absolutely do not need that. And that blew me away. I remember Solo and Rogue One were both 2 stories when they said, hey, these are coming out. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it. Sure. And I loved them. So Acolyte was one, not that I didn't think we needed it, because I loved where it's set in the timeline, supposedly. But I just wasn't sure I was interested in it. As you guys know, I mean, I'm not anti-High Republic. I just haven't gotten to it. There's just so much stuff now, and there's a lot of words and things, and yeah. But yeah, Eric says, what did Eric just say there? It's hard to pick just one, but I'm excited to see the Acolyte as the first piece of live action content for the High Republic. Absolutely. So, and maybe it'll pull me in, but either way, I'm excited because it's a story in a different time, in a different place, right? That's what excited me about The Force Awakens, was we were taking place beyond what we knew, and this is taking place before what those of us who don't read High Republic know. So, it's just an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. I think 2024 is going to be a really, really fun year. I think there's going to be a ton of stuff to watch and a ton of stuff to see. So, but I actually think that's about all we're going to do tonight. I think we got a good tight hour here. I think we did a lot of conversation. Again, we are hopeful that you don't feel like we pulled the wool over your eyes. There is no more Force Connect. This is it for Force Connect, the end of Force Connect in this form. It is the birth of ATG Live, Around the Galaxy Live, which will feature guests, news, comments, hearing from you, our listeners and followers, hanging out with us on the show. So we look forward to seeing you all on January 11th. Before we go, Chris, what's coming up on Bro Axiom?
Well, let's see. We're taking a week off for shooting a poodoo, just like we did last week. So we'll be back next week. We do have 2 comics coming out, Darth Vader 42 and the High Republic, Shadows of Starlight #4. Those will be out. So Dan and Rick Villanueva will be doing previews for that. Star Bros just dropped a podcast talking about the first 4 years of Disney Plus and all the Star Wars content that we got over the past few years with that. And I believe Braxim Gaming is coming back, or BX Gaming is coming back next week. Both shows, one with Claire, the one with Dan and Roke. So yeah, we've got a few things to look forward to.
Got some stuff coming up. That's great. Well,
also, next month, next year, will be the start of the new lore show with myself and Tommy Puig, Darth Chaco, Kay Stanzi, Element 7, Rick Villanueva. We're going to be doing a show called Brolacron, just talking about Star Wars lore and a few other things. So yeah, look forward to that.
That's going to be great. I'll learn something from that since I don't read the books. I'll be able to follow along and learn new stuff. But that's awesome. We for Around the Galaxy, we have a couple guests lined up, but this next week, it'll be for the first of the year. We will be dropping our next episode, which is with John Bailey, the epic voice guy. You've heard him. He tells a really cool story about, imagine being a Star Wars fan. By the way, he has done the voices of many of the Star Wars toys you probably have. But he's an ADR guy now, and he does voiceover. But imagine being a Transformers fan your whole life as a kid, and then suddenly voicing some of the Transformers on the big screen. He talks about that. We go through the 10 question segment with him. We had a lot of fun with him, but that was a fun one. Be on the lookout for that from Around the Galaxy coming up in the next week. But this is it. This is the final Force Connect. It will be ATG Live in a couple weeks, Thursday nights, 8 p.m., an hour earlier, a day earlier, and just a high-paced, a lot of fun show that will continue to include all of you hanging out with us. Looking forward to it. So until then, Chris, may the Force be with you.
Always.
I hate that.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.